Okay, guys, so the trial updates. I meant to do yesterday's, something came up. I wasn't able to, so I'm going to do a summary of yesterday's and as well as today's. So we are getting very close to closing arguments, and yesterday a chaplain, Sheila Kavanaugh, testified. She was the chaplain at the facility Lindsay was staying in right after this happened. And she had very interesting testimony. She recounted how even when Lindsay was intubated, she was there. And even though Lindsay could not talk back, she prayed with her, held her hand. And so when she saw her after she was extubated, she felt like they already had kind of, bonded. And she recounted some of the things Lindsay had said to her. The first thing she said to her was, "I'm so glad my children are safe." And the chaplain said she replied in a biblical type way, clergy, that yes, your children are safe and have, because they're in heaven right now. And she was specific about that being something that's the reason why she replied that way, is that, her job wasn't to find out exactly what happened or why it happened. Her job was to be there, in a clergy capacity and be support for her. So she was specific about that. And she did tell her that she had heard a man's voice telling her that if she needed to kill her kids and herself in order for all of them to go to heaven. Meanwhile, outside of the courthouse yesterday, more than 200 people were out front of the courthouse, a lot of them wearing pink in support for Lindsay, basically protesting the prosecution's case. And like I said, a lot of them were wearing pink, and they were, some of them holding signs in support of women's mental health and postpartum depression and psychosis awareness. Came today, and today was a big day. The defense called their final witness, Philip Resnick. Dr. Resnick testified that he did believe that Lindsay was in psychosis when she committed these acts, and that she was experiencing command hallucinations in terms of, she was hearing a man's voice telling her to do these things. As we know, the prosecution, on the other hand, has argued all along that she did know what she was doing at the time of the killings and that she knew it was wrong. The defense then officially rested their case. Then the prosecution, it was the prosecution's turn to basically call rebuttal witnesses. Avram Mack was somebody they called first to be a rebuttal witness, and he disagreed with the defense's position and the diagnosis of Lindsay of postpartum psychosis. In his opinion, she actually had major depressive disorder and not, postpartum psychosis. Now we're entering the final stretch of things, and next week, closing arguments are to be expected, and then it will go into jury deliberation. So after weeks and weeks of testimony, the question still remains: was Lindsay Clancy psychotic at the time that she committed this horrible act? Or did she understand that what she was doing was wrong and therefore should be held criminally responsible under the law? And we are almost to the point where the jury will decide that. And you know that I will be following any updates, any closing arguments, deliberations, verdict right here. We'll catch you next time.